Hello and welcome back to Easy English Lab. I'm your host, Emma, and today I'm absolutely delighted to introduce our special guest, Leo from Brazil. Welcome to the show, Leo.
Thank you so much for having me, Emma. I'm truly excited to be here and share about my country with all your listeners.
We're thrilled to have you, Leo. Our listeners have been so curious about what daily life is really like in Brazil. Could you walk us through a typical day from morning to night for an average Brazilian family?
I'd be absolutely happy to. A typical day starts quite early for most working Brazilians. Many of us wake up around 6 a.m., sometimes even earlier, depending on commute times. The first thing most people do is take a refreshing shower. Actually, we typically shower at least twice a day because of our warm climate. Then we move to breakfast, which is usually light but important, featuring bread with butter or cheese, some fruits, and of course, our beloved strong coffee that we drink in small cups throughout the day.
That morning routine sounds both familiar and unique. I've heard the general pace of life has a different rhythm in Brazil compared to many other countries. Is that accurate from your experience?
You've touched on something really important, Emma. There is indeed a distinct rhythm to our days. The workday usually begins around 8 or 9 a.m., but the most significant difference lies in our approach to lunch. Unlike many countries where people might eat quickly at their desks, in Brazil, lunch is considered the main meal of the day. Many working people take 1 to 2 hours for lunch, with many actually going home to eat with their families, while others visit restaurants or eat at workplace cafeterias.
A 2-hour lunch break sounds absolutely amazing and quite different from the rushed lunches many of our listeners might be accustomed to. What does a typical Brazilian lunch consist of?
A traditional lunch always centers around rice and beans. That's truly the foundation of Brazilian meals. We build from there by adding some type of protein like beef, chicken, or fish, complemented by a fresh salad and cooked vegetables. Many people also include farofa, which is toasted cassava flour that we sprinkle over the food to add a delightful, crunchy texture. It's a complete, balanced meal that fuels us for the rest of the day.
After such a substantial lunch, how do people transition back to work? Is there a different energy in the afternoon?
That's a great question. Yes, the workday continues until about 5 or 6 p.m., but the atmosphere is generally more relaxed after lunch. People often take a short coffee break in the mid-afternoon. We affectionately call this the cafezinho time. But it's not just about drinking coffee, it's really a social moment to chat with colleagues, share stories, and take a mental break before continuing with work.
That sounds wonderfully balanced and very civilized. What about after work hours? How do Brazilians typically spend their evenings?
Evenings are primarily for family and social connection. Given our generally warm climate, you'll often see people spending time outdoors, in parks, at outdoor cafes, or simply visiting with neighbors in front of their homes. Dinner is usually much lighter than lunch, perhaps some soup, leftovers from lunch, or a simple sandwich. Many families enjoy watching television together in the evening, particularly the very popular soap operas that air during prime time.
That family-oriented approach to evenings is really beautiful. What about weekends? How do weekends differ from the weekday routine in Brazil?
Weekends are when Brazilian social life truly comes alive. Saturday mornings are typically dedicated to household chores and grocery shopping. But by afternoon, the social visits begin. People start visiting friends and family. Sundays are reserved for relaxation and substantial family meals. Many families maintain a strong tradition of Sunday lunch where extended family gathers, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone comes together for a large, leisurely meal that can last for hours with lots of conversation and laughter.
That strong family focus is truly heartwarming. What about sports and physical activity? When do people typically fit exercise into their schedules?
Football is absolutely everywhere in Brazilian life. You'll see people playing in parks, on beaches, in streets, really anywhere there's open space. Many adults play in amateur leagues on weekends. For other forms of exercise, while some people go to gyms, many Brazilians prefer outdoor activities like running, walking, or beach sports. In coastal cities, it's common to see people playing volleyball on the beach or swimming in the ocean, especially in the early mornings or late afternoons.
How has modern technology and digital connectivity changed daily life in Brazil in recent years?
Like most places worldwide, smartphones and internet access have significantly changed how we communicate and work. But what I find particularly interesting is that technology hasn't replaced our fundamental social habits. People still strongly prefer face-to-face conversations. We might use messaging apps to coordinate meeting up, but then we'll spend hours talking in person. The digital world exists alongside remarkably strong personal connections rather than replacing them.
That's a beautiful balance to maintain. Based on your experiences, what do you think would surprise international visitors most about daily life in Brazil?
I believe visitors are often genuinely surprised by how much intentional time we dedicate to socializing. In many countries, people tend to go straight home after work. In Brazil, you'll consistently see groups of people talking animatedly on street corners, families sitting outside their homes, chatting with neighbors, friends meeting for coffee at all hours. There's a cultural warmth and openness that fundamentally influences how we structure our days and prioritize human connection.
That sounds absolutely wonderful and quite inspiring. Thank you so much for painting such a vivid and detailed picture of Brazilian daily life for our listeners.
It's been my genuine pleasure, Emma. Thank you for such engaging questions that really let me share the heart of Brazilian daily culture.
Emma, Leo, now that we've covered the daily rhythms of Brazilian life, I'm curious about the heart of Brazilian culture, the food. What makes Brazilian cuisine so special and unique?
That's a wonderful question, Emma. Brazilian food is truly the soul of our culture. What makes it special is how it represents our history. It's a beautiful mix of indigenous, Portuguese, African, and immigrant influences. Every region has its own specialties, but the common thread is that food is always about bringing people together.
That sounds amazing. Could you tell us about some classic Brazilian dishes that everyone should know about?
Of course. Let me start with what we call our national dish, the black bean stew with various meats. It's a rich, slow-cooked stew that families traditionally eat on Wednesdays and Saturdays. It's served with rice, collard greens, orange slices, and toasted cassava flour. Another favorite is fish stew, cooked in a clay pot with coconut milk, tomatoes, and peppers. This is especially popular in coastal areas.
Those both sound delicious. What about street food? What can people find being sold on Brazilian streets?
Brazilian street food is an experience in itself. One of the most popular snacks is shredded chicken shaped into teardrop forms, breaded and fried until golden and crispy. Another common one is deep-fried pastries filled with meat, cheese, or other fillings. You'll also find grilled cheese on sticks And in beach areas, you can buy grilled shrimp and other seafood from vendors.
My stomach is growling just listening to this. How do eating habits in Brazil differ from other countries?
The biggest difference is our approach to meals. Lunch is our main meal of the day, not dinner. Families really try to eat together for lunch whenever possible. Also, we take our time eating. Meals are seen as important social time, not just something to rush through. And we have a strong culture of sharing food. It's common for everyone to eat from shared plates in the center of the table.
That communal approach sounds wonderful. What about drinks? What do Brazilians typically drink with their meals?
Besides our famous coffee, we love fresh fruit juices, since Brazil has such an amazing variety of tropical fruits. We make juices from fruits like açaí, passion fruit, guava, and many others that might be less familiar internationally. We also have a traditional caffeine-rich drink made from dried leaves that we drink from small gourds through a metal straw. It has a unique, bitter taste that many Brazilians love.
How important is food in Brazilian social life and celebrations?
Food is absolutely central to everything we do. For birthdays, we have special cakes and snacks. For football games, we have specific foods we eat while watching. For festivals, each one has its traditional foods. But the most important thing is that food is how we show love and build community. When you visit someone's home in Brazil, the first thing they'll say is, "Come in and eat something," even if you just ate.
That's such a warm and welcoming tradition. Are there any food customs that might surprise people from other countries?
One thing that often surprises visitors is how late we eat dinner. Since lunch is our big meal, dinner might not be until 8 or 9 p.m., and it's usually much lighter. Also, the way we eat beans might be different. We often eat them as a thick stew, not as a side dish. And the variety of fruits we have available year-round often amazes visitors. Many fruits they've never seen before.
How has Brazilian food evolved in recent years? Are there modern trends?
Like everywhere, we're seeing more health-conscious trends and vegetarian options becoming popular. But what's interesting is that traditional foods remain strong. Young chefs are taking classic Brazilian dishes and giving them modern twists, but the foundation is still our traditional cuisine. Also, Brazilian food is becoming more known internationally, which is exciting for us.
For someone who has never tried Brazilian food, what would you recommend they try first?
I would start with the national dish I mentioned earlier. It really represents the heart of Brazilian cooking. Then try some of our street food snacks, and definitely experience our amazing fruits. But most importantly, try to eat it the Brazilian way. Share it with friends or family, take your time, and enjoy the experience of connection as much as the food itself.
That's such a beautiful advice, Leo. Thank you for sharing so generously about Brazilian food culture. It's clear that food is much more than just nourishment in Brazil. It's really about relationship and community.
Exactly, Emma. That's the essence of Brazilian food culture.
It's about the joy of preparing food together, the pleasure of sharing it, and the relationships that form around the table. The food itself is delicious, but the connections it creates are what really matter.
I think our listeners can really feel that warmth and community spirit through your descriptions. Thank you for giving us such a rich understanding of Brazilian food as an expression of culture and relationship. Leo, we've talked about daily life and food culture in Brazil, but I understand that festivals and celebrations are absolutely central to the Brazilian spirit. Could you take us through the year in Brazil and help us understand these wonderful celebrations?
I'd be delighted to, Emma. Brazil is often called the country of festivals, and for good reason. Our calendar is filled with celebrations that blend our diverse cultural influences. The year really begins with our most famous festival, the spectacular pre-Lent celebration that takes over the entire country for almost a week each year.
That must be the world-famous Carnival. What makes Brazilian Carnival so unique compared to other carnivals around the world?
What makes our carnival special is that it's not just a spectator event, it's a massive participatory celebration. Months before the actual dates, communities across Brazil begin preparing. In neighborhoods everywhere, people come together in what we call samba schools, though they're really community organizations, not actual schools. Thousands of people work together, creating elaborate costumes, building enormous moving stages, and practicing dance routines and music.
That sounds like an incredible community effort. What actually happens during Carnival Week?
The cities transform completely. In Rio de Janeiro, you have the magnificent parade competition at the Sambadrome, where different samba schools compete with breathtaking floats and costumes. But equally important are the street parties that happen in every neighborhood. These aren't organized by professionals, they're spontaneous gatherings where anyone can join. You'll see people of all ages, from grandparents to small children, dancing together in the streets. The music, the colors, the energy. It's like the entire country is dancing together.
That sounds absolutely magical. After Carnival ends, what other major celebrations fill the Brazilian calendar?
Right after Carnival comes Lent, which is more solemn. But then in June, we have what we call the June festivals. These are especially big in the Northeast region and celebrate Catholic saints while also incorporating elements of Brazilian country life. People dress up as farmers, dance in square formations to accordion music, and eat traditional foods like corn dishes, peanut sweets, and hot spiced wine. The cities decorate with colorful flags and build temporary dance halls.
That sounds wonderfully traditional. What about later in the year?
As we move toward year-end, the celebrations become even more significant. In October, we have a major religious procession that draws millions of believers. Then comes Christmas, which in Brazil has its own unique character because it falls during our summer season. Families decorate their homes with nativity scenes, but we also incorporate summer flowers and fruits into our decorations. Christmas Eve is more important than Christmas Day, with families gathering for a special dinner around 10 p.m. and exchanging gifts at midnight.
Summer Christmas sounds fascinating. And what about New Year's Eve? I've heard it's particularly spectacular in Brazil.
New Year's Eve here is truly magical. Millions of people dress in white, symbolizing peace and renewal, and gather on the beaches. There's a beautiful tradition where people offer flowers and small boats to the ocean as thanks for the past year and hopes for the new one. At exactly midnight, everyone jumps 7 waves, making 7 wishes for the new year. The fireworks displays in cities like Rio and São Paulo are among the largest in the world, lighting up the entire coastline.
That sounds incredibly poetic and meaningful. Beyond these major national celebrations, are there regional festivals that visitors might not know about?
Absolutely. Brazil's regional diversity means there are countless local festivals. In the Amazon region, there's a spectacular folk festival where teams present elaborate performances based on local legends, with giant puppets and incredible costumes. In the South States, with strong European heritage, you'll find Oktoberfest celebrations that rival those in Germany. In historical mining towns, there are classical music festivals held in beautiful old churches. Every region, every state, even many cities have their own unique celebrations throughout the year.
How do these festivals reflect the Brazilian character and values?
I think our festivals show the essence of being Brazilian, our joy in community, our ability to find happiness even in difficult times, our love of music and dance, and our amazing talent for blending different cultural traditions into something uniquely Brazilian. The festivals also demonstrate our warmth and inclusivity. Everyone is welcome to join the celebration, whether you're a local or a visitor, rich or poor, young or old.
That inclusive spirit is so beautiful. How have these traditional festivals evolved in modern times?
While maintaining their traditional roots, the festivals have definitely incorporated modern elements. You'll see traditional samba rhythms mixed with electronic music at Carnival. Social media has changed how people share their festival experiences, and environmental awareness is influencing things like fireworks displays and costume materials. But the heart of the festivals remains the same. They're still about community, celebration, and the Brazilian joy for life.
For someone experiencing Brazilian festivals for the first time, what advice would you give?
Come with an open heart and be ready to participate, not just observe. Don't worry about not knowing the dance steps or the songs. Brazilians love when visitors join in. Wear comfortable clothes and shoes because you'll likely be dancing for hours. Try the festival foods, learn a few basic Portuguese phrases for celebrations, and most importantly, let yourself be carried away by the incredible energy and joy of the experience.
Leo, thank you for this wonderful journey through Brazil's festival calendar. It's clear that celebration is woven into the very fabric of Brazilian life.
It truly is, Emma. Our festivals are more than just parties. They're the living, breathing expression of our culture, our history, and our shared identity as Brazilians. They remind us of what's truly important: community, joy, and celebrating this beautiful gift of life together.
Leo, we've explored so many aspects of Brazilian culture, but I feel we haven't fully delved into the incredible world of Brazilian music and arts. This seems like such a vital part of your national identity.
You're absolutely right, Emma. Music and arts are the heartbeat of Brazil. They're not just entertainment. They're how we express our history, our struggles, our joys, and our diverse cultural roots. From the powerful rhythms of African drums to the melodic influences of Portuguese guitars and indigenous flutes, Brazilian music tells the story of our people.
That's beautifully put. Could you guide us through some of the main genres of Brazilian music?
Certainly. Let's start with samba, which is probably the most internationally recognized Brazilian rhythm. Born in the early 20th century in Rio de Janeiro, samba has its roots in African traditions brought by enslaved people. The basic samba rhythm is created by various percussion instruments, and it's the soul of our carnival. But samba has many variations. There's samba enredo for carnival parades, pagode for more casual gatherings, and samba canção, which is more melodic and romantic.
I've also heard of bossa nova. How does that relate to samba?
Great question. Bossa nova emerged in the late 1950s as a more sophisticated, quieter style that blended samba rhythms with jazz influences. It's characterized by soft guitar patterns and gentle, poetic singing. Songs like The Girl from Ipanema became international hits and really put Brazilian music on the global map. Bossa nova is like the cool, sophisticated cousin of passionate samba.
What about other regional music styles?
Brazil's regional diversity is amazing. In the Northeast, we have forró, with its accordion-driven sound that makes everyone want to dance. There's also axé music from Bahia, which mixes African rhythms with pop elements. In the north, we have carimbó, incorporating indigenous influences. And more recently, Brazilian funk has become hugely popular in urban areas, especially among young people.
The diversity is incredible. Now, what about musical instruments? Are there instruments unique to Brazil?
Absolutely. We have several instruments that are deeply connected to Brazilian identity. The berimbau is probably the most unique. It's a single-string bow-shaped instrument that's essential for capoeira. Then there's the cuica, a friction drum that creates those laughing, talking sounds you hear in samba. The pandeiro is our version of a tambourine, but much more sophisticated rhythmically. And of course, we have various sizes of surdo drums that provide the powerful bass foundation in samba.
Let's talk about dance. How important is dance in Brazilian culture?
Dance is as natural to Brazilians as breathing. Every music genre has its corresponding dance style. Samba dancing, with its quick footwork and hip movements, is probably what people imagine first. But there's also the partnered dance of forró, the Afro-Brazilian dance, and connecting with others.
What about the visual arts? Could you tell us about Brazilian artists and art forms?
Brazilian visual arts are wonderfully diverse. We have world-renowned artists like Tarsila de Amaral, whose painting Abaporu became a symbol of Brazilian modernism. There's also the incredible street art scene, with artists transforming urban spaces into open-air galleries. In folk arts, we have beautiful lace-making in the Northeast, ceramic figurines depicting rural life, and vibrant carnival mask making. Each region has its distinct artistic traditions.
I'm fascinated by capoeira, which seems to combine so many art forms. Could you explain what it is?
Capoeira is truly unique. It's a martial art that disguises itself as dance. Developed by enslaved Africans in Brazil, it was a way to practice self-defense while appearing to be dancing and playing music. Today, it's recognized as an important cultural practice. A capoeira session involves two players moving in a circle called a roda, accompanied by traditional instruments and songs in Portuguese. It's beautiful to watch. The players flow between attack and defense movements in time with the music.
How has contemporary technology and globalization affected Brazilian music and arts?
Technology has created fascinating new blends. Young Brazilian artists are mixing traditional rhythms with electronic music, creating new genres. Social media has given artists from favelas and remote areas platforms to share their work globally. At the same time, there's a strong movement to preserve traditional arts. You'll find music and dance schools in communities across Brazil, teaching the old styles to new generations.
What role do music and arts play in social and political life in Brazil?
Throughout Brazilian history, music and arts have been powerful tools for social commentary and political protest. During the military dictatorship, protest songs circulated secretly. Today, funk music often gives voice to the realities of life in poor communities. Carnival parades frequently feature themes about social justice, environmental issues, or political criticism. The arts are never just decorative in Brazil. They're alive with meaning and purpose.
For someone wanting to explore Brazilian music and arts, where would you suggest they start?
I'd recommend beginning with the classics. Listen to some samba masters like Cartola and Noel Rosa, then explore bossa nova with João Gilberto and Tom Jobim. Watch some capoeira performances online. The athleticism and musicality are breathtaking. Look up Brazilian street art on Instagram. The creativity will blow you away. And if you ever visit Brazil, definitely experience a live music show and visit some local art markets.
Leo, thank you for this incredible journey through Brazilian music and arts. It's clear they're not just cultural expressions, but the living, breathing soul of Brazil.
Exactly, Emma. Through our music, our dances, our visual arts, we tell the world who we are, a people of incredible resilience, creativity, and joy. The arts are how we remember our past, celebrate our present, and imagine our future. They're the colorful, rhythmic, beautiful heartbeat of Brazil that never stops playing.
Leo, we've covered so many wonderful aspects of Brazilian culture, but I'm particularly curious about the social fabric that holds everything together. The family relationships and social values that make Brazilian society so unique.
That's such an important topic, Emma. If I had to pinpoint the heart of Brazilian culture, it would be our emphasis on family and social connections. In Brazil, family isn't just your immediate relatives. It's a vast network of parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, and even close family friends who we often call aunt or uncle as a sign of respect and affection.
That sounds wonderfully inclusive. How does this extended family concept actually work in daily life?
It means that family gatherings are often large and frequent. Sunday lunches might include 20 or 30 people regularly. There's a strong sense of collective responsibility. If someone in the family needs help, everyone steps in. Children often grow up with multiple adult figures who actively participate in their upbringing. It's common for grandparents to live with their children's families or very nearby.
How does this family structure affect how Brazilians socialize outside the family?
The warmth and openness we learn in family settings extends to all our relationships. Brazilians tend to be very physically affectionate. We hug, we kiss cheeks when greeting people, we touch arms during conversation. This sometimes surprises visitors from more reserved cultures. But for us, this physical closeness is natural and reflects genuine care and interest in others.
What about friendships? How do Brazilians approach making and maintaining friends?
Friendships in Brazil tend to be deep and long-lasting. School friendships often continue throughout life. There's a saying here that translates to, "Who has a friend has everything." We invest tremendous time and energy in our friendships. It's not unusual for friends to see each other several times a week, to know each other's families intimately, and to be involved in all important life events.
That sounds incredibly supportive. How does this social orientation affect daily routines and priorities?
Social time isn't seen as separate from real life. It's integrated into everything. A trip to the grocery store might include stopping to chat with 3 neighbors along the way. Work colleagues often become genuine friends who socialize outside office hours. The pace of life, while busy, always makes space for conversation and connection. Being too busy to see friends or family isn't really accepted in our culture.
What values are most important in Brazilian social relationships?
Several key values stand out. Solidariedade, or solidarity, or looking out for one another, is crucial. Cordialidade, which is more than courtesy, it's a genuine warmth and desire to make others feel comfortable. Confiança, trust and reliability in relationships. And alegria, the shared joy in being together. We believe that happiness is meant to be shared, not experienced alone.
How do these values manifest in difficult times?
In challenging moments, you really see the strength of Brazilian social bonds. When someone is sick, friends organize to bring food and help with chores. When there's a financial crisis, families pool resources. During the pandemic, we saw incredible examples of communities organizing to support their most vulnerable members. There's a deep understanding that we're all connected and responsible for each other's well-being.
How is the younger generation in Brazil balancing traditional social values with modern life?
That's an interesting evolution. Young Brazilians absolutely value the social connections they grew up with, but they're adapting them to contemporary realities. They might use technology to maintain the close connections that were traditionally maintained through frequent visits. They're redefining family structures while maintaining the core values of support and connection. And they're bringing traditional Brazilian warmth into global contexts as more young people study and work abroad.
What advice would you give someone from a different culture who wants to build genuine relationships with Brazilians?
Be open and authentic. Show genuine interest in people's lives and families. Accept invitations to social gatherings, even if they're last minute. Don't be afraid of physical affection. Accept hugs and cheek kisses warmly. Learn a few Portuguese phrases of greeting and appreciation. Most importantly, understand that building relationships with Brazilians takes time and consistent effort, but the depth of connection you'll gain is absolutely worth it.
How do these strong social bonds contribute to what people often describe as the Brazilian joy for life?
I believe our happiness is directly connected to our relationships. Knowing you have a network of people who genuinely care about you, who will celebrate your successes and support you in difficulties, that creates a fundamental sense of security and belonging. The famous Brazilian joy isn't about ignoring life's challenges. It's about facing them together, finding reasons to celebrate even in hard times, and understanding that life's greatest treasures are the people we share it with.
That's profoundly beautiful, Leo. It seems that in Brazil, the distinction between friends and family is beautifully blurred, creating this expansive circle of care and connection.
Exactly, Emma. We have a saying, friends are the family we choose. In Brazil, that's not just a nice sentiment, it's how we live. Whether you're born into a family or welcomed into one, you're embraced with the same warmth, included in the same celebrations, and supported with the same commitment. That's why visitors often remark that after spending time in Brazil, they feel like they've gained a second family.
Thank you, Leo, for helping us understand that the famous Brazilian warmth isn't just a cultural characteristic, but the natural expression of a society built on deep, meaningful connections between people.
It's been my pleasure to share this with you, Emma. These social values are what I'm most proud of in Brazilian culture. In a world that sometimes feels increasingly isolated, our commitment to connection, to family in all its forms, and to genuine human warmth feels more important than ever.
This seems like a perfect note to end our series about Brazilian culture, from daily life to food, festivals, arts, and finally to the social heart of everything. You've given us such a comprehensive and beautiful understanding of what makes Brazil so special.
Thank you for this wonderful opportunity to share my culture. I hope your listeners feel inspired to bring a little Brazilian warmth into their own relationships, and to remember that no matter where we're from, we all share the fundamental human need for connection and community.